when I feel a migraine coming on, there are several things that I do right away. And if I do those things right away, oftentimes the migraine never gets fully started, or it doesn't get a chance to get really, really bad. And by the next day, I'm doing okay. If you feel a cold or the flu coming on, you take extra vitamin C, drink lots of water, and get some extra sleep and rest. If you do that, a lot of times the cold or the flu doesn't get as bad. There are medicines out there for cold sores, and they tell you on the packaging that the sooner you start to use the medicine after you notice a cold sore coming on, that the less severe the cold sore will get. This same idea holds true for migraines. Sometimes when I feel a migraine coming on, I either just don't catch it soon enough, or I ignore the symptoms, or it just comes on too quickly or something, and I end up with a full-blown migraine that's like raging out of control. And when that happens, I am a lost cause for multiple days. Knowing this, it is very, very important to me to make sure I catch the migraines before they really get a chance to get started. Because if I catch them before they really get a chance to get started, well, they don't get started. The things that I do when I notice a migraine coming on, I call my migraine battle plan. Hi, I'm Amy on A Lolly Life. I love you, and I believe in your ability to make little tiny changes here and there to create the best, most healthy life for yourself. We're going to talk about a migraine battle plan today. It can be difficult to figure out what the common symptoms you have before the headache part of a migraine happens, because there are so many that could happen. But the good news is our bodies tend to have go-to symptoms that we have almost every time. Figuring out what those go-to symptoms are for ourselves plays a critical role in helping migraines not be as painful and go away sooner, or maybe go away sooner and therefore not be as painful. You have to pay attention to how you feel leading up to a migraine. You will almost always have some warning signs. You need to figure out what those warning signs are for you. I'm going to tell you about some of the warning signs that I have so that you can get an idea what you need to look for. I often have an aura, like a blind spot on the side of my vision or floating through my vision, like I looked at a really bright light. I almost always have brain fog, neck discomfort, fatigue, and my head sometimes will start to feel like it's like too heavy, or I feel a bit dizzy if I turn too quickly. Although I don't want to admit it, I tend to make dumb choices, and sometimes I get whiny and irritable. My personality sometimes becomes a little bit snarky, and I roll my eyes way too often. Do you ever have personality changes related to having migraines? I'm pretty sure that it's at least a somewhat common thing. I would actually be super curious about your experiences with personality changes related to migraines, and so tell me about that in the comments. You need to have a migraine battle plan. A battle plan is what you can do to lessen the impact and shorten the duration of your migraine. And so once you have a good feel for what your early warning signs are, you will know that those indicate when you need to implement your migraine battle plan. You can tailor fit your battle plan to what works best for you. I'm going to give you some ideas and tell you about some of the things I do for examples. The number one thing I do when I have the hint that a migraine might be coming on is I drink an electrolyte drink, like Gatorade. And by drink, I actually mean Guzzle. Drink the whole thing in just a few minutes. Get those electrolytes in and moving around your body as soon as possible. Even if the migraine never actually shows up, no worries. A little extra hydration is a good thing. The reason I do that is because dehydration can trigger a migraine, and that has been the case for me occasionally. Dehydration also will make a migraine worse and last longer. Most people don't drink enough water, so even if dehydration isn't what caused your migraine, being hydrated can lessen the impact of the migraine. The second thing I do is stop what I'm doing and like this video. Yeah, just kidding. But you could do it. Actually, what I do is I stop what I'm doing and I try to get home and have a little extra rest. Now, this could be difficult for you depending on the demands on your time and your job. For me, this has looked like leaving in the middle of a shopping trip, or leaving early from book club, or not finishing mowing the lawn. Anyway, if you slow way down and rest, it has huge benefits for reducing your stress level. And if we allow our bodies to rest, they do a pretty good job of helping us feel better and getting us back up and going. If I give myself that rest before things get completely out of control, I am less likely to get knocked out of the ballpark with a grand slam migraine. I take medicine for my migraines. There are several different kinds of medicine that you can take for migraines. I will only mention that there are over-the-counter options for acute pain and prescription rescue medicines that you can take to shorten a migraine and lessen its severity, and preventative meds for people who have frequent migraines. You should discuss with your doctor what would be the best option for you. Limit screen time. This can be difficult because when I'm not feeling well, I really just want to veg out and watch TV or watch some YouTube or scroll through social media. However, it's not a secret that bright lights, eye strain, and potential flickering images can bring on a migraine, and they certainly make them worse. Lavender. I like the smell of lavender oil when I have a migraine. It seems to lessen the pain for me, or maybe it just gives me something else to concentrate on so that I don't feel the pain as much. So a lot of times I'll take a little bit of lavender and maybe put it on my shirt, or I might put it on my cold wrap eye cover, which is another thing I do. The cold will help with the migraine, and you can pull it down over your eyes if the light is bothering you. Although I do have to warn you that you might have to wait for it to warm up for a couple minutes before you slap that sucker on your head, or you might end up with brain freeze. If you're keeping track of symptoms or looking for possible migraine triggers, now's a good time to make some notes before things get out of control. Calming music or white noise. Sometimes I put my earbuds in without any music or anything playing because it dampens the noise enough that I don't have to go around telling everybody to hush because my head hurts. If throwing up is a regular occurrence for you, then it might be a good idea to have some air sick bags in your car or your purse or somewhere convenient and close by. Thankfully, I rarely throw up, although one night we had a big family dinner and had people in from all over the area, and I was hanging out and all of a sudden I had to throw up. I literally was fine one minute and the next I was not fine. Interestingly enough, if you want to clear out the house, vomiting every few minutes will do the trick. Everybody cleared out pretty quickly as soon as I started donating everything in my stomach to the toilet charity. Blah. Looking back, I had other warning signs that I was having a migraine, like an aura, which inspired me to take my migraine medicine, but it did not occur to me until much later that the vomiting was probably a warning sign of a migraine as well. It just had come on so suddenly that I couldn't think straight. Thankfully, by staying full up on meds, I was able to travel the next day without incident, but that brings me to my final point on why I have a migraine battle plan. Cha-ching! Because when I have a migraine coming on, I don't always think clearly. If I didn't have a routine and set steps to follow, I would probably allow myself to get much, much worse before I did something about it. And that would mean I would have many more migraine days, which isn't pleasant. I'm sad for you if you suffer from migraines. Keep pushing forward and keep putting in your best. And be okay if your best sometimes is your migraine battle plan. Look for tender mercies from God when you're having trials, and you will find them. I promise you. I love you, and I'll see you on the next episode of A Lolly Life.